Rolling.
Get over here.
Gracias. Hola.
Bon dia.
Barcelona.
Bon dia.
Part of the package of our trip here to Barcelona was a cooking class for paella with a private chef.
Instructor. Yeah, private instructor. Chef. So we met up with Angelo, our instructor, who was a nice chap. Actually, immigrated here from Italy and has lived here in Barcelona 6-7 years.
Since 2006.
Oh.
He was great. Our first stop was at a meeting point, and then we went to
A local
market.
Yeah.
And he gave us some history about like how the markets here keep the local folks afloat because they didn't have supermarkets here. I think
Prior to the 80s, so mid-80s was when the first supermarket, as he said, came to Barcelona or this region. And so they built the supermarkets next to the local markets, the town markets, which would force the traffic through the town market into the supermarket. And then the local markets would sell fresh meats, fresh fish, fresh produce, pretty dominantly, those 3 or 4 items, and baked goods. So. Mm-hmm. And then the supermarket would sell all the other items, the cleaning goods and things like that.
Yeah, it was a very nice, clean little indoor market.
Yeah. And he picked out some fresh fish and seafood products for the seafood paella. And then we went to the verduras tienda, the stand, bodega, to buy fresh vegetables, which we picked out.
Then it took a quick taxi ride to his own apartment.
Yeah.
And that's where he did the cooking demonstration or cooking class. It wasn't really a class, it was more like a participation type of activity experience. Making paella, he did 2 dishes. One was a seafood paella, and he made one that was vegan for me. And I thought that was pretty delicious. So he did involve us with like the prepping of the vegetables.
Chopping, dicing.
I made charcuterie board.
He made the charcuterie board. Yeah.
Yeah, and all along the way he would tell us history about the country, his story, his personal story, and also the history of paella.
Paella and the history of the charcuterie board. So we learned about the smoked jamons and the smoked meats and the smoked cheeses and things like that.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks for coming.
So it was for me, someone who enjoys cooking, it was nice to experience a cooking class on paella. I've never made paella myself. I'd eaten paella, but I've never made paella. So many steps in the process. Each step cooked separately, and then that item separated and held off. So in a process, the onions first. I noticed they didn't use any garlic, and I haven't seen any garlic available in the markets. But it was all the onion, and then each fish item, whether it was the prawns, the clams, or the fish, the different fish.
No, it was
calamari and squid.
Yeah, calamari, squid, mussels, and clams. And then shrimp was at the very end.
Yeah. Big shrimp that you had to open up yourself.
Yeah.
It was very tasty. So it was nice to see go through that process, and then adding the boca rice. Boca rice?
Bomba,
not boca. Bomba rice. To the process, because that's a kind of like a little round ball kind of rice, like a bomba, like a bomb.
Yeah, and it cooks fairly quickly, about 20 minutes when it's in the broth of the stock, when the stock is added to the end with all of the other ingredients added back in after they've been cooked and then set aside. So
it's very good. It's an excellent way to spend a good part of the day. We enjoyed a nice Sicilian wine, nice white Sicilian wine, which he brought. I kind of chuckled because here we're in Spain, and tomorrow we're going wine tasting in Spain, or Spanish wine tasting. But today was a nice paella dish with a white wine, which is commonly served with paella.
So after that experience, we went down to the beach near where his apartment was.
Just a few blocks, really.
And just to experience what he really wanted to dip his feet in the Mediterranean waters.
And I did. I got to put my feet in the Mediterranean water and walk on the Mediterranean sand on the shore of the playa.
Right. We went back to this little street that had a bunch of restaurants called Carrer de Blai. And then I guess they have a whole bunch of restaurants that feature pinchos, which are skewers. So it's like basically tapas that are skewered together, anchored by bread.
Right.
And then they have like sausages, tortas.
Cheeses, tortas, potatoes, all kinds of different things on those little breads.
Yeah, it was interesting flavors
Yeah.
kind of mixed together.
And it was a great way to sample lots of flavors with small bites, which is what tapas are, and opportunity to, if you like it, you can eat more or not. Relatively inexpensive. I mean, you can eat. We ate quite a few tapas.
I think it was expensive for the two of us. It came out to 34 euros, but that's including a couple of drinks. He had sangria.
Sangria, which I've enjoyed the sangria. And we had water and yeah. So, I mean, we had tapas at another another little restaurant along there 2 nights ago. Pincho was the name of the restaurant, Pincho. And we had tapas there, but I think we shared like 5 or 6 bites, and it was like 13 euros.
Right, because we weren't as hungry.
No, it was
night.
later. We weren't as hungry. We were hungrier today after the paella because we hadn't had breakfast, neither one of us.
Right.
Yeah. So we had coffee, and then we had paella, and then coffee.
Right. By the way, we obtained this Barcelona package from the Rainbow Chamber's Bows and Bow Ties live auction in October of 2024. The package included accommodations, the private paella cooking experience, and wine tasting. The accommodations were great, I thought. It was a nice little flat in the Poble Sec area of the city, close to a metro station and an overall nice neighborhood, which was fun to explore and check out the area.
In fact, I walked up and down the streets, going into different little shops and tiendas, just to check things out. I was looking for, I don't know, something, snacks. One shop I went into, I was looking for specific things, and so I'd go wander around to the shops. But it was a great little neighborhood, and easy to get around, and clean streets, and very, very friendly folks, and lots of little cats, and lots of birds, and just a charming little neighborhood we were in.
The third part of the package was wine tasting. Again, it was hosted by Angelo. The following day after the paella experience, our meeting place was at the La Venia del Señor wine bar at the Plaza de Santa Maria, the plaza for the Basilica de Santa Maria del Mar, which is apparently in olden times the church was right at the coast, and then they since have built in that area. So there's a couple of blocks. It's now a couple of blocks away from the water.
It was a little bit cool that morning. We got down there early, and we were both wearing sweatshirts because it was a little bit cool. And that square that we were in for the wine tasting is we were waiting for the little wine bistro, I guess, to set up. We were just kind of hanging out and window shopping the different shops, but it was kind of cool. It was a shaded courtyard area. Later on the day it warmed up, but that morning was a little bit cool.
Yeah, so it was a small square, and it was enclosed the taller building, so we were in the shade.
The Basilica
most of
was a
that
taller
time.
building.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a nice casual conversational time, and hanging out with Angelo again, who provided additional history about wines and Spanish wines and the regions that these wines came from.
I found it interesting. We had a rosé and a couple of whites and different blancs, which were tasty. I think I was looking for more of a red, and I did express that to Angela the day before, that I enjoyed more of a deeper, heartier red. But we did taste those wines. I'm not a big fan of rosés. It takes a lot for a rosé to be fantastic for me. So, but it was good to taste the different wines from that area.
Yeah. Gracias for rolling with us.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button if you like this, and so you can see more of these with the Rolling with the Balls videos.
Yeah. We'll roll with you next time.
That's
Adios.
how we roll.